Whiteboard Learning. My name is Anvara Tripathi, and in today's session we are going to analyze the previous year questions for UPSC Civil Services exam from Geography section. In the previous session we have already decoded the Geography syllabus for prelims and mains, and we have analyzed the trend in terms of the weightage of the Geography in prelims and mains. So without a further delay, let's start our discussion about the previous year question, specifically 2024 Geography segment. So first question is about the longest border between any two countries in the world is between option number A is Canada and United States of America, second is Chile and Argentina, third is China and India, fourth is Kazakhstan and Russia. So here the answer is Canada and United States of America, somewhere around approximate 8900 kilometer is the length of the border. We are going to look at the other options as well. Here D option, if you see, it is about the Kazakhstan and Russia. This is the second most longest border and the length is somewhere approximate 7600 kilometer. Chile and Argentina is the third longest border with the length approximately 5300 kilometers. If you talk about option number C, China with Mongolia is fourth most longest border. Approximate length is 4600 kilometers. India with the Bangladesh is fifth longest border, somewhere around 4142 kilometers. So if you see, other options are very important. They also have some kind of the distinctiveness. However, the answer is option number A. Next question is about Red Sea. Red Sea receive very little precipitation in any form and no water enter the Red Sea from the river. Here, if I try to draw the map for the Red Sea, so this is Asia continent, this is Africa, here it is Red Sea. Red Sea in the inlet of Indian Ocean, and it is connected with the Indian Ocean here with the help of Gulf of Aden. And here one of the state, this is very important state from the perspective of trade between the world, namely Bab el Mandeb, here Gulf of Aqaba, here Gulf of Suez, and the trade is happening in between the West European countries and other part of the country, especially Asia or Southeast Asian country, with this route only. So from the Indian Ocean, it is Gulf of Aden, then Strait of Bab el Mandeb, Red Sea through the Suez Gulf, and then Suez Canal is connecting point with the Mediterranean Sea, and Mediterranean Sea is connected with the Atlantic Ocean, namely Strait of Gibraltar. So this is about the geographical location, but this question talks about the location of the Red Sea in terms of the precipitation. So Red Sea here, if you see, there is a desert area, and in desert area high evaporation and very little precipitation and more or less no river. So both these statements are right, and the answer is option number C, both 1 and 2. Now the next question is, this is about the atmosphere heating process. So first statement says atmosphere is heated by the incoming solar radiation than the terrestrial radiation. Second statement says carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas in the atmosphere are good observer of long wave radiation. If you see these two statements, they are contradictory in nature, and when it comes to the heating of atmosphere, this is not from the incoming solar radiation. Why? Because incoming solar radiation, which is known as insolation, so this insolation in the form of solar radiation is a short wave radiation, and being a short wave radiation, atmosphere is transparent for this radiation. So it means then how the atmosphere is heated up. So eventually when the insolation is received at Earth eventually by observing those insolation become a radiating body itself, and Earth is released the radiation in the form of terrestrial radiation, and this is comparatively long wave radiation. and it is very easy for the atmosphere to trap this long wave radiation, and in atmosphere various gases, nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. So this carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases like water vapor, so they observe the long wave radiation. It means the first statement is wrong and the second statement is right. So option number D is right. Statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. Why? Because atmosphere is heated by the terrestrial radiation rather than the incoming solar radiation. Reason being is atmosphere is transparent to the short wave radiation, which is the incoming solar radiation. Now next question. This is also for the atmosphere. Two statement is given. The thickness of the troposphere at equator is much greater as compared to pole. Second statement says at equator heat is transported to the greater height by the strong convectional current. See here, the Earth's atmosphere is organized into various levels, and the very first layer is the troposphere, where all the weather related phenomena is happening, and the height of the troposphere is more at equator as compared to poles. Reason being is the difference of the thermal expansion. Thermal expansion means, here the meaning of the thermal expansion is the air within this troposphere or at the lower level of the atmosphere is rise at a greater height because of the temperature variations. So at equator the insolation is more. Insolation is more, and because of which the temperature of air is more. If the temperature of air is more, then the spaces between the molecular gas will increase, because of which the density will decrease and air become lighter, so it can rise to a greater level as compared to poles. At poles insolation is less. If insolation is less, instead of rising the air will descend. So this statement is right. At equator heat is transported to the greater height by the strong convectional current. Yes, this is the right statement, and moreover it is explaining the first statement also. At equator, as we have already discussed, that equator heat is transported to greater height. Why? Because the insolation is more, so the temperature is high and density will decrease. So it is easy for a lighter air to rise. So this rising of the air is termed as what? The strong convectional current, which is vertical upliftment of air. So statement second is explaining the statement first. So both the statement first and second are correct, and statement second is explaining the statement first. So answer is option number A. Now next question. This is about the product in case of volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption is coming out of the magma from the interior of the earth in the form of lava at the exterior of the earth. So what kind of the product is released? So pyroclastic debris means the volcanic rocks, ash and dust, nitrogen and sulfur. So apart from this, certain other gases also released, for example nitrogen and sulfur. And apart from this, in the trace amount, the gases like chlorine and argon also released. So here all these four options, all these four statements are right when it comes to the product of volcanic eruption, option number D. Now next question. This is about the cocoa producer countries in the world. Which of the following countries are well known as the two largest cocoa producer in the world? Option A is Algeria and Morocco. Option B is Botswana and Namibia. Option C is Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. Option D is Madagascar and Mozambique. Here answer is option number C, Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. Collectively these two countries are producing even more than 50% of the total world production of the cocoa. Cote d'Ivoire is producing 40% and Ghana is producing 20%, so collectively 60%. This cocoa is basically dried beans from a tree, namely cacao. So this cocoa, which is in the dried bean, is used in the production of chocolates. It also has a fat content which is known as cocoa butter, and this is the cocoa butter which is used in various skin care products in the form of moisturizer or in the hair care products. So this dried bean is something which is used for the manufacturing of chocolates, and these two countries from the African continent is producing more than the 50% of the total world production. Now next question here, this is about the Ganga river. Question is, with the reference to Himalayan river joining the Ganga downstream from Prayagraj from west to east direction, and 4 rivers only they have selected, and you have to arrange from the west to east direction. So 4 option is here, the 4 river is Gomati, Ghaggar, Gandak and Kosi. If we see the map here, this is the Ganga river, and here many rivers are joining on the left bank and the right bank. So here this river is the basically left bank. So first river which is joining the Ramaganga, then the next is Gomati, then Ghagra, then Gandak, Kosi, and after Kosi there is one more river, Teesta. If you see our options, only 4 rivers they have given right away from the Gomati, Ghaggar, Gandak and Kosi. So even before the Kosi, Ramganga, and after Kosi, Teesta. But as per the demand of the question, Gomati sequence is Gomati, Ghaggar, Gandak and Kosi. The right bank tributary will arrange of Ganga river from the west to east direction. Its first is Yamuna, which is joining at Prayagraj, which is also known as Sangam. Okay, then the Son river. Okay, and then the last one is Damodar river. And rest of the rivers are the tributary of the Ganga, Son and Damodar respectively. So for the left bank tributary sequence is Ramganga, Gomati, Ghaggar, Gandak, Kosi, and for the right bank sequence is from the west to east, Yamuna, Son and Damodar. Next question. It is about the weathering of rocks. See, weathering of rocks is meaning the disintegration of rocks, so which can be happen due to various reasons. One is mechanical weathering, chemical weathering. So here this weathering phenomena question is being asked with respect to rainfall, that how the rainfall is the reason for the weathering of the rocks. So one of the first statement is rainfall is one of the reason for the weathering of rocks. Yes, this statement is right. Rainfall is the reason, like mechanical weathering or chemical weathering, because of the sheer impact of the water, which is the example of mechanical weathering, the weathering of rocks will occur. Then second statement is rainfall contain the carbon dioxide in the solutions. Yes, because of which the weathering of the rocks will happening. How? Rainfall water will react with the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which known as the carbonation, and it will form a weak acid, namely H2CO3. Okay, and because of which this weak carbonic acid will be the reason of chemical weathering. Okay, then the third statement is rainfall contain the atmospheric oxygen. Yes, as the rainfall water have the oxygen, it is the reason for the weathering. Why? Because if the rock is having the iron, and if iron will react with the water in the presence of oxygen, there will be the rusting of iron. And this rusting of iron is the example of chemical weathering of the rock. So both this third statement is also right, and it is also the reason for the first statement. So here answer will be option number A. Both statements second and third are correct, and both of them explain the statement number first. Here the reason is going to be the weak carbonic acid, and here the rusting of the iron. Here the weak carbonic acid, and here the rusting of iron. Now the next question. It is about which of the countries is having the border with North Sea. If you see the map here, North Sea is connected in the, is having in the north Norwegian Sea, and in the south it is connected to the Atlantic Ocean. In the south west direction to the Atlantic Ocean with the help of English Channel. And the countries which is having the border: Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, Belgium, and France. Okay, so here Finland is located beyond the Sweden, and Russia is even more located beyond the Norway, Sweden, and Finland. So Finland and Russia is not having directly border with the North Sea. However, if you see here, the Germany and Norway having the border with North Sea. So option number B is the right answer. Now next question is, here the three aspect of the question: one is waterfall, another is region, and the river. You have to identify that this river is originating from a particular region and making the waterfall. So first match is Narmada River, Malwa, and Dhuandhar waterfall. Narmada River originate from Amarkantak plateau, and it basically flow from the Rift Valley between the Vindhyan range and the Satpura range. So Malwa is not the original point, but when it comes to waterfall, it is formed by the Narmada River nearby the Jabalpur district. But as it is mentioning the Malwa region, so this match is not correct. Second is Handru waterfall by the Subarnarekha river originating from the Chota Nagpur plateau. So this is the right match. Handru falls was created in the course of the Subarnarekha river, and this fall is located in the Ranchi Purulia road in the Chota Nagpur plateau. So this is right. Then the third is Gerospa fall. This is also known as Jog fall. Netravati river. Netravati river do not form this Gerospa or Jog fall, but it is the Shravati river. Shravati river originating from the Western Ghat is making a jog fall in the Shimoga district of Karnataka. So third match is also wrong. But when it comes to Netravati river, this river is forming the Bandeja fall. So here only one second point is correctly matching. So here the answer is option number A. Rest are wrong. Next question is, some tree species is given and you have to identify which are the native to India. One is cashews, another is papaya, and red sanders. Red sanders everybody can identify. A very famous movie named after this issue is Pushpa. So this red sea is located in red sander is found native to India, specifically to the southern part in the Sheshachalam hills. Sheshachalam hills region of the Eastern Ghat in the state Andhra Pradesh. So this is right. But when it comes to cashew, it is native to Brazil and introduced in India by Portuguese. So this is wrong. When it comes to papaya, this is native to Central America and Southern Mexico. So here the right answer is only 1. Now next question is, this is about the water vapor. Which of the following statement is correct? Two statement is given. One is, it is a gas, the amount of which decreases with the altitude. Second statement is, its percentage is maximum at pole. And we have to identify the correct statement. See here, this question is about the water vapor. So presence of water vapor in the air depend upon various factors and specifically the temperature. If temperature is more, then the water holding capacity in terms of water vapor in the air will be more. And here the first statement says it is a gas. This is right, because water in the liquid form transform into the water vapor, which is the gaseous form of the water, the amount of which decreases with the altitude. Means as you go in the height, then the amount of the water vapor will decrease. This is right. Why? Because as we go vertically upward, so the temperature of air reduced, which is at 165 centimeter 1 degree Celsius, which is what the normal lapse rate. So if with the increasing in the altitude, the temperature is decreasing, so obviously the water holding capacity of the air will decrease. So this statement is right. Now the second statement is its percentage is maximum at pole, which is wrong. Why? Because at the pole the insolation is very less. So if insolation is less, then the temperature of the air will be very low. So if the temperature of the air is low, then the water holding capacity in the form of water vapor will be low. So this is the wrong statement. So here the answer is option number A only, first. Now the next question is, here certain characteristics have been given and you have to identify the type of climate. This question also we have discussed in the previous session of how to approach the NCERT. So 3 statement: annual and the daily range of temperature is low, precipitation occur throughout the year, and the precipitation vary from 50 centimeter to 250 centimeter. This is a very direct question from the NCERT in chapter climatic classification of the world. So here the answer is marine west coast climate, and in NCERT all these 3 statements are given and in the same sequence examiners has picked this question. So here the answer is option number D. Now the next question, it is about the Coriolis force. This is also directly from NCERT. 3 statement is given and you have to identify the correct. First statement is it increases with the increase in the wind velocity. Second is it is maximum at pole and absent at equator. See, the Coriolis force is generated because of the earth rotation around its axis. So the more rotation, the more Coriolis force. Here the first statement is it increase with the increase in the wind velocity. So basically if the velocity of the wind is high, then the deflection will be more in a particular direction depending upon the hemisphere. So if it is in the northern hemisphere, then the deflection will be towards the right direction. If it is in the southern hemisphere, then the direction will be towards the left. Oh, okay, so the first statement is right. It is maximum at pole and the absent at equator. This is the right statement, and moreover this is one of the reason that there is no tropical cyclone from 0 to 5 degree north and south latitude. Why? Because there is no Coriolis force, and the presence of Coriolis force is one of the reason for the tropical cyclone. So here the answer will be option number C. Both statement are right. Now next question. This question says, on June 21st every year, which of the following latitude experience the sunlight of more than 12 hours? 4 option is given: equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle. So if you see this location, we know that the earth axis is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degree, because of which what will happen, one hemisphere will be tilted towards the sun more, because there is an apparent movement of sun, so the sun will be vertically overhead depending upon the location of earth around the sun. So on this 21st June, the sun will be vertically overhead at 23.5 degree north latitude. So insolation will be more beyond this point, and the insolation will be less below this latitude. So all the latitude which is above this 23.5 degree north means Tropic of Cancer will be having the sunlight for more than 12 hours. So here the Tropic of Cancer and this Arctic Circle is beyond this. So here option number D is the right answer, means second and fourth. Equator is below this 23.5 degree north and Tropic of Cancer is also below the 23.5 degree north. Now next question is about the peatland. Which of the following region has the world's largest tropical peatland, which holds about the 3 years worth of the global carbon emission from the fossil fuel, and the possible destruction of which can exert the detrimental effect on the global climate? Which one of the following denotes the region? Here the answer is Congo Basin, option number B. Here the peatland means, in the peatland, why there is a more carbon, and if there is a destruction of peatland, then there will be the emission of carbon. Reason being is the peatland have certain waterlogging condition, and in the waterlogging condition, the decomposition of organic matter slow down, and this is one of the primary reason. And if there is a destruction of peatland, then the carbon dioxide or the carbon emission, which will eventually have the detrimental impact of the global climate. Why? Because carbon dioxide is one of the prominent reason behind the global warming. So here the answer is option number B. Now the next question is, how many of above belongs to pea family? So one statement is groundnut, second is horse gram, and the third is soybean. So this pea family belongs to the leguminous plant, which is having the nitrogen fixation bacteria. So here the answer is all of the three, because groundnut, horse gram, and soybean belongs to this pea family. Now the last question. This is about the total fertility rate, which is every now and then discussed in the newspaper, and this question was from 12th class NCERT of human geography. So what is the total fertility rate? So first option is the number of the children born per 1,000 people in the population. This is not the total fertility rate, it is the crude birth rate. Now the second statement is the number of the children born to the couple in the lifetime in a given population. There is no as such concept. Option number C is the birth rate minus death rate. This is the natural population rise. Population can rise because of the many factors, and when it comes to birth and the death, this is the natural reason. So this is also not the right option. Option number D, the average number of the live birth a woman would have by the end of her childbearing age. This is what the total fertility rate. So this is all about the today's session, where we have discussed all the questions of 2024 from the geography sections, and this was all about today's session. Thank you so much.